Well, it is a moving target and a rapidly changing frontier of new territory for those of us in the world of the church, just as it is for many of you. But this is Pastor Mark midweek in lieu of our Oasis and midweek programming night with a word of greeting, a word of playful fun, a word of inspiration, preparation, and basically a preview of what we're going to do for the next couple of weeks. So thank you for being so responsive to our online services on Sunday. We had a tremendous response. And we were amazed at how many hits we had and how many places the services went that normally wouldn't go. And the feedback from those unexpected places was exceedingly positive and encouraging. As we look ahead this week, we're going to keep the same format in place. Remember, we are here. The church is open. If you have needs, if there are pastoral care concerns, be sure to let us know. As pastor, I will come see you wherever you may be, and if you don't want to visit, I'll talk to you on the phone. That remains in place. Note that we are also developing, as we speak, an opportunity to reach out to those who are in need. Someone may need supplies. Someone may need food. In the old days, the church would just have a collection, and we would have ways to disperse that or take it to people. But nowadays, you're able to do things directly online and have certain services delivered. You would pay for it, but it would be delivered. And so if you become aware of someone who is in need that you would like to help, employ those options. If you need the church to coach you in how that works, call us here. And Tim Hammond, Darla Rosebrook, who answers the phone, Linda Formingus in Congregational Care, she'll be glad to coach you in how easy that is. And any other concern that you might have, be sure and forward that, because we're going to love and pastor our people. Speaking of supplies, I want to show you a funny here. This came to me from my wonderful friend Carolyn Clouch, who sent it to me in a text, and it's stewardship of the toilet paper. You've seen the hoarding of toilet paper, been at the store and seen the shelves. Well, here's your clip on being sure and tithe what you purchase in toilet paper. With that stated, let's look ahead. There is one important change that I want to share with you midweek, and we will follow this with another detailed email toward the end of the week, just as we did last week. We're not going to be able to run the back porch live worship service. And I don't want to take all the time to go into all the reasons. We had a tremendous turnout when you consider that in bad weather, more than 40 people showed up last Sunday. But there were certain logistical questions and the moving target of following the lead of leadership in society to limit gatherings, to minimize risk. I want to be courteous of our staff and of each of you and be thoughtful. And for a while, we're going to suspend the back porch service. And as things ease up, we'll perhaps come back to it as we ease back into normalcy. But I think we've all realized even since a week ago that normalcy is going to be slower in emerging. And we'll just have to be patient and adaptable and courageous and tough as we move through this. As we look forward to this Sunday's worship, I want you to take a look at the book of Judges in the Hebrew Scriptures. Follows Joshua, and I want you to scan that, if not read it. It's not a real long document, but it's not short either. But the real meat's going to pick up in the 6th chapter. The first few years I was here as your pastor, I talked a lot about Gideon and how the angel of the Lord found him in a wine press. And we talk about God's call and God's presence in our lives. It's a magnificent story. Gideon goes from a quivering coward in a wine press to being a great leader for the Jewish people, takes on a great enemy named Midian, and does it in the most remarkable and strategic way. When it comes time for final battle and confrontation, they almost bluff their way through because they were so strategic. Great wisdom, great lessons of life from people who have been through challenges such as what we are facing as a society. And I'll develop this like I did the story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, perhaps over several Sundays and really take an in-depth look. Again, look for the update coming in your email that will review this and any other surprises that may develop here in the next few days. And right now, I want to bring in my wonderful friend and colleague, Josh Worthen, Minister to Youth and Families, who's going to share with you a prayer. This prayer came to me through my longtime friend, Dr. Eric McKinney. He's been a mentor, he's been a friend. Some of you know him in the church. He's retired now. But this came from someone in Washington State that has been in the middle of that coronavirus epicenter where they've had disasters in nursing homes and death of precious loved ones, and the outbreak has been more widespread. And this just puts things in perspective, this prayer. Josh already helped me with that in a staff meeting this week when I was lamenting the frustration I had that the timing of this was such it's going to postpone our general conference in the United Methodist Church till later, hoping we could finally get by this denominational roadblock. It slowed down the thrilling progress we've had as our church last year and into this year and even before. And Josh just reminded me and all of the staff that we need to be thankful for the problems we've got, because there's a whole lot more people who have it a whole lot worse than poor old Mark or whomever. So Josh is the perfect one in his loving presence just to read and share this prayer. And remember, it comes from people who are in the epicenter of this challenge. Josh?
Thank you, Mark. Gracious God, who is always present in our lives, may we who are merely inconvenienced remember those whose lives are at stake. May we who have no risk factors remember those most vulnerable. May we who have luxury of working from home remember those who must choose between preserving their health or making their rent. May we who have the flexibility to care for our children when their schools close remember those who have no options. May we who have had to cancel our trips remember those who have no safe place to go. May we who are losing our margin money in the turbulence of the economic market remember those who have no margin at all. May we who settle for a quarantine at home remember those who have no home. As fear grips our country, let us choose love. During this time, we cannot physically wrap our arms around each other. Let us yet find ways to be the loving embrace of God to our neighbors. Amen.
Amen, indeed. I remember as a kid hearing an old saying. It applied then and it applies now. When the going gets tough, the tough get going. And we as the people of Christ are going to have to be tough in tender, loving, inclusive, and flexible ways. And we're already off to a great start. And as I've said many times before, I'm proud of you as a church. I'll look forward to seeing you Sunday via electronic means. Look over the 6th chapter of Judges and the rest of the book. Look at all of it if you want to. And remember, we'll be back with an email update confirming all of this or sharing any changes that may occur by surprise here in the next 48 hours. Grace and peace from this, your church, a community of grace committed to making disciples.